Archie Bonifacio joining me in studio now from Tandia, and you are a wealth management expert. So somebody who people are tuning into right now, deciding, what do I do with that tax refund? Now, we've finally had our tax season end just back in April there, and you have some tips and tricks on what Canadians should be doing with those refunds.
Well, absolutely, and I think the great thing that they got their taxes done by the deadline is the first step. The second step, when you're asking what to do with it, is to really think through what your financial goals are. Like, a lot of times we think of that refund and say, well, how do I put it to work with me? How much money can I actually make off that, or what can I do with it? But have you actually sat down first and think about what are your financial goals? Were you thinking of buying a house? Were you thinking of paying down some debt? Or are you really thinking more long-term for retirement? So that is really the first step. And if you're thinking of saving that money, there are a number of different choices that you have there too.
And now, for people who are looking at saving or potentially looking into their futures, mortgages, etc., how do you begin if maybe you can't afford just even a few dollars or up to $100 a month?
Well, I think the best thing to do, if you really want to get started, is to go see an advisor. See an advisor at your local financial institution, see them at a banking branch or your local credit union like Tandia. And what they'll tell you is, first of all, that you really should be putting that money aside first before you do any other sorts of spending. So whether it is $100 a month or even $25 a month, it is a start to get that discipline together to put that money away. And then the next thing you want to decide upon is, how should I be saving that money? Should I be saving it in an RSP, or should I be saving it in a TFSA?
And that was actually my next question, is what is the difference between the two, and what do you suggest people do invest into? Well,
having done their taxes recently, they should be familiar with where they are with respect to their marginal tax rate. So how much taxes are they really paying on the next dollar that they earn? And by knowing that information, they'll have a better idea of which of those two accounts they should open. The best way to look at it is, if you think you're going to be using that money in a shorter term, like something that you may still be working, you may still be earning the same amount of money you're making now, you're probably better off putting that money in a TFSA, because money that comes out of that TFSA is tax-free. If you're thinking you're going to be taking it out a longer term down the road, possibly when you're retired, and you believe your retirement income is going to be lower than what it is while you're working, it's probably better for an RSP, because ideally you're going to save that money now on the taxes that you could have paid today and be able to take them out at a later date at a lesser tax rate.
Fantastic. Now, what about those who unfortunately have to owe money? That's the other issue. What do they do in that situation?
Well, the first thing I want people to know when they're receiving or having to pay taxes is that's actually okay, because that's money that was owed to the government, and it's not money that has been kind of held by the government first in order to be paid back to you. So it's not that bad a thing to owe them government money. It's only a problem if you actually don't have that money available to pay them back. So the first thing that you should be thinking about is, well, why am I in this situation where I owe the government money? Did I receive some money that I didn't withhold tax on? Did I take money out of, let's say, an RSP and got taxed on it, and for some reason have a larger tax bill than usual? Mm-hmm. If you can figure out why that happened, you can avoid that situation in the future. You may be able to, again, go see an accountant or work with an advisor to figure out how much money should I be putting in an RSP to reduce that tax bracket down the road, or reduce that tax bill down the road. But again, receiving money, so long as you have that money to pay for it, isn't as bad as people think.
And what should they do in the future to ensure they don't owe that money?
Well, I believe to ensure that they don't owe that money, RSPs are a great way to defer those taxes. Okay. Another great idea is to potentially have a little bit more money withheld at source. Or, again, if you don't want the government holding that money for you and giving it back to you as a refund, you could actually start setting some money aside, again, paying yourself first, to put that money aside to eventually pay your tax bill once it's time to do taxes. Just make sure you do them on time.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us here today. Again, Archie from Tandia, who is your wealth management expert. For more information, you can also visit them at 75 James Street South in Hamilton, and you can contact them at 1-800-598-2891, extension 1177. And of course, visit their website for more information, and that is tandia.com.